just to be me, 'cause what I feel is free. And I don't
Hi, Macy from Big Happy Love. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to this channel. I've put together a lot of amazing information to support you on your path to love. So if you're a single woman and you're tired of collecting mediocre relationships, or what I like to call bargain brand relationships, and you're longing to have that person that adores everything about you, you're in the right place. So I will be sharing with you yoga, meditations, teachings, and interviews with some great experts on body image, self-love, and creating your special love vibe so that you can take a step towards love. So I really hope you enjoy this video. Satnam. Hi everyone, this is Macy from Big Happy Love, and today I have a really special guest, Maggi Fitzpatrick, who is going to help us learn how to prepare to have a sexual relationship and connect with our sensual side and intimacy. Yes. Maggi is a sex therapist, and she is preparing to write a book and move into more coaching. And I think you're doing so many amazing things, and what I really love about you is that you allow everyone to have their own personal experience. So it's not about learning a big handbook of things. It's really connecting to yourself, and you really teach that well. So that's why I was really excited to have you.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
So will you tell us, some of your wisdom around how you can prepare for a sexual relationship?
So I think probably the biggest concept is to treat this time in your life like it's an opportunity, because that is exactly what it is. It's an opportunity to get really in touch with yourself and to get really in touch with what your needs are, your sexual needs, your sexual wants, your sensuality, and just getting really familiar with your body. Because I think a lot of that is difficult to do when you're actually in a relationship, because then you feel like guilty about that, or you feel like you always need to involve your partner in it. And so this time in your life where you're, out there looking, I think spending just as much time looking outside of yourself as you're spending looking inside of yourself, and really getting connected to what it is your body is telling you is the first step. And I think a lot of what you were saying, like one of my biggest beliefs is that there is no right way to be sexual, and there's no right way to be sensual or to be self-confident or anything like that. It's totally comes from you, and it's going to be unique to you. So getting really clear on what it is that works for you in your life right now is the most important thing.
Okay, cool. How do you know when you are connected to that?
Typically, some of the questions I find that I ask people, and women in particular, when do you feel most connected to your body? So it might be in times that aren't overtly sensual, like it might be when you're working out, or it might be when you're doing yoga, or it might be when you're swimming, or doing something like that where you're really connected to what is happening physically inside of your body, but then you're also just in that space of like alignment with yourself. So getting really clear on what that space is for you, and trying to do that as much as you possibly can, because that will help. That's really a skill, being able to tune in and to be really connected and feel really aligned. And then you can transfer that skill into other areas of your life, like more overtly sexual experiences. But one of the biggest challenges for women in particular is to be present in your body during a sexual experience. A lot of us go into our minds, and we're going through the joke about going through the grocery list in your mind when you're being sexual and like checking out. But a lot of times it also is like the shoulds or the pressure, like, am I doing this right? Is he or she having a good time? Does my body look okay? Like all of those kind of ramblings that go on in your mind, instead of being present and connected to what is actually happening for you. And so building that skill elsewhere, like doing yoga is a great practice for this. Then you can start to learn how to do that and how to tap into yourself in a a moment when it's more intense and it's more vulnerable. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, that's really helpful. So we need to be really present with our bodies, like recognize how we do that even in our everyday experience. I love that yoga does connect us to our bodies. So then the next piece of that is that we have an awareness of what feels good.
Right. You have an awareness of what your body's experience is. Because sometimes your experience in your body isn't always a good thing. But I think that being aware of that too, because that's going to tell you when you're not comfortable, and that's going to give you some things to communicate, especially when you do have a partner that you're not comfortable with something or something isn't feeling right. It's just as important to know those things as it is to know what does feel good and what does feel right for you. So I think, a lot of times when people talk about mindfulness or being present, they view it as this form of meditation or relaxation or this positive experience. And the truth is, most of the time, when you're mindful, you are also very present with the discomfort of what you're experiencing.
Okay.
And we are so tapped into avoiding that, and we're so we have a lot of experience in kind of getting away from what makes us uncomfortable. And so being really present in your body, even in yoga, sometimes in yoga, like you might be in a pose that really sucks and it might be uncomfortable and you can feel like the rolls of your stomach, or you can you can feel your legs shaking or whatever that might be, and you might want to get out of the pose as soon as possible.
Right.
But really being in that pose and kind of sticking it out and saying like, what's actually happening in my body right now, that gives you so much more insight that you can, again, bring into sexual experience. Hopefully you're experiencing pain, but that does happen for a lot of women. They experience pain and they don't realize it in the moment, and so then they don't express it in the moment, and then you end up with a bigger problem. So being even more aware of like the discomfort as well as the comfort and the thing that feels good.
Okay.
Just knowing what your body needs and what your body feels like.
Right. So then how do we use this information? Because once we know what we like, then we need to be able to communicate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are your tips around communication?
Yeah, that's a big one. And again, unfortunately, there's no handbook to tell you, like, this is how you say this. But I think the biggest kind of rules of thumb are to always be compassionate and to be non-judgmental, because to have these kinds of conversations about your sexual wants and your desires and the things that you're not enjoying or the things that aren't working for you, like, all of that is so vulnerable, and it's so scary, both for you and for your partner. And so just to be compassionate to that space and to that, the conversation that you're going into. So instead of coming into it with a lot of criticism or a lot of like, you should be doing this, or I should be feeling this way, or whatever those shoulds are, come into it with some compassion and some self-acceptance and with some patience and gentleness. And so always kind of coming into those conversations with that kind of energy. One other big tip is to never have those conversations naked, and to never have those conversations before, during, or after a sexual experience, because those are the most vulnerable time, as I'm sure you can.
Okay.
You can
so never
gather.
like during a sexual experience.
No. Of course, speak up if you're experiencing pain or you really don't like something. Then just say like, I don't like that. Please stop. But otherwise, if it's like that could be better, that's not the time to explain that. Because that will come across as criticism, and your partner will then shut down, just like you would if your partner was all of a sudden critiquing you in the moment. You would be like, oh my gosh, now I'm like not going to be able to be in the moment. I'm going to be in my own head. So always have those conversations clothed, like in the kitchen or on a walk or outside of the bedroom, because that keeps the bedroom space as like a safe kind of sanctuary for you and your partner. So those are kind of the two like main points around it. I think also just to always, like early on when you're starting a relationship, to start a relationship with the concept of open communication, because it's so hard to bring that into a relationship that's already been structured around kind of secrecy and avoiding those difficult conversations. So if you can build that into the foundation of the relationship from the early points in the relationship, and say that's what I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Then you guys have this, maybe you have a check-in every month like a relationship check-in, and that's a great opportunity to bring up a sexual want or a sexual
Right.
desire or sexual dislike, and maybe it doesn't even need to be that structured for you, but just have that kind of foundation already in place, that you and your partner value open communication and you want to know what your likes and dislikes
Right.
are.
When is the right time? And for me, I don't think that that is a handbook
No.
thing
Again.
either. It's like, once again, like, we have to be able to know ourselves and to be able to communicate with our partners. I love the idea of a once a month kind of check-in, because that can contain a lot of things about a relationship.
Yeah, my husband and I do that. We
Okay.
have a once a month relationship date is what we call it, and that's our time to kind of check in with each other. And some months are harder than others. Some months it's like, yay, we're doing great, and some other months it's like, so this month
Right.
I have some things to bring up. But it really is like a good kind of structure to know that it's going to happen, and we are going to talk about the things that we need
Okay,
to talk about.
yeah. So you know that there's going to be that space.
Right.
That's really
Right.
great.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so to answer your question about like how
How
to
do you
know when to start having those conversations,
Or even getting intimate. Like,
yeah, that's a big one. I think, again, it comes back to what feels good for you internally. So if you are feeling like you need to say something or you need to express something, then listen to that. And that means that you need to say something. So maybe get clear with yourself around what it is that you're wanting to talk about, or what it is, the point that you're wanting to make, so that you don't end up, especially early on, like oversharing or rambling or doing something like that. But kind of asking yourself, like, what is that urge that I need to express myself in this way?
Right.
And get clear around what that is, and then do it. And if you're needing to do that and your partner does not understand that, and your partner early on is like shuts you down or says that it was oversharing or whatever, maybe that's a sign that it's not the right partner for you. Because maybe you need to express yourself.
Right.
When to be intimate, again, I think that comes down to when it feels right for you, and there's no handbook. I personally don't follow the don't have sex on the first date policy, because I think sometimes that is the right approach. But I think if both people are in that space of feeling ready to be intimate and feeling like they know exactly how intimate they want to be,
Right.
and you feel comfortable with that, then go for it. Like, I think that there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. I think that the point when it becomes problematic or troublesome is when you're doing something because you think you should, or because you think
Right.
that's the expectation. Screw
Or that you shouldn't.
Right.
Like, then you're
Right.
more in that
You're living
space
something-
of, like, right and wrong.
Right, you're living somebody else's life
Yeah.
at that point. You're not living your own experience.
Yep.
So you need to be true to yourself. And if you say, like, I'm not ready to be intimate for 3 months, then do that. And you might need to be openly communicate that to your partner, so that your partner can kind of be supportive of that and understand where that thought comes from, or where that timeline comes from, or whatever those kind of, that structure that you've put in place for yourself. Then there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So
Okay, cool. That's
again,
so great.
be true to you.
I love that. It's just being you. I noticed that sometimes going through a process of healing and getting connected to yourself and really focusing on your vision of what you want in a relationship, that sometimes it's hard to be patient. I mean, and truly, like, when you're looking for a long-term partner, you want that person that really matches your values, and it is a numbers game in a sense. So what do women do when they're really feeling impatient and they just want to have someone to just be intimate with and snuggle with and make out with and have a fling?
Yeah,
Like,
totally. So I think the most important thing with that is to get really clear on your priorities. There's nothing wrong with having a fling, and I think flings are powerful sometimes, because sometimes that's just what you need. You just need some love, and you just need some physical attention, but then be clear with yourself that that's what you're looking for, and go after that. And don't muddle that in with a long-term, values-based foundational relationship, because a foundational relationship like that really does need the time, and it needs you need to kind of peel back the layers to really get to know who this person is and what they really stand for. And in FLING, you don't do that. That's the point of a FLING. You know, it's all surface. It's all surface and like immediate fun. But if your priority is to have a long-term, lasting relationship where you can really be vulnerable and really be yourself, and you have that depth to your relationship, know that that takes time, and so you're gonna have to be patient. And so you might have, like, if we're talking about like horniness and you just need some action, be your own best friend. Masturbation is a wonderful wonderful thing, and it also is a great way to kind of get in touch with what your wants and your desires are. I know a lot of times women kind of shy away from masturbation. We think of it as something that only men do, or only women do when they're young, or something like that, and that's not true at all. Women masturbate throughout their lives. There's nothing wrong with masturbation. It helps you get connected to your body, and it helps you understand exactly how your body works and really what turns you on.
Okay.
And so it's also a great way to kind of channel that energy when you're feeling that need for a fling, but your priority actually isn't a fling. Your priority is a long-term relationship. Then masturbate.
And then you do have more kind of information.
To bring into a relationship at that time.
You know how to communicate what you like, and you're empowered in that place.
Right. You know exactly how your arousal builds, too. So you know exactly what to expect when you are with a partner, and how to kind of help guide him or her into what works for you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is great. So are there any like last words that you would like to share with the women?
The biggest thing is just to really be aware of the messages that we get from society, from the media, from our friends, from our family members, from even the most well-intentioned people that put pressure on you to be somebody that you're not. Because I think this is a message that you are always, spouting, because I think that and that's one of the reasons why I love you, because I do think that it's so much about being true to who you are, and being comfortable in who you are without feeling like you need to live up to these shoulds, because that carries into, even in a relationship, like really when we talk about sexual dysfunction, the biggest cause of sexual dysfunction is pressure to perform and pressure to achieve a certain goal. And really, both of those things are living somebody else's life. That is trying to be somebody that you're not, or trying to be in a space that you're not ready for. So just continue to be true to you, and continue to be really connected to yourself, and continue to look to Macy for fabulous support on that.
And you, because this is a great opportunity to share that you are, available to help with any, sexual coaching.
Yep. Sex coaching, empowerment coaching.
Right. Okay, great. So what else do you want to say about that? Because we will put Maggie's information in here, so on the screen and below, so that you can reach out to Maggie specifically with any of your concerns or interest in ways to work together.
Totally. Yeah, and feel free, in my information, you can, on my website, you can contact me. So if you have any just burning question and you aren't really looking for an additional coach or whatever, I'm happy to answer questions just over email. So feel free to shoot me a question.
And I've experienced your teaching, and you're really good. I mean, she's really great. So, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.